The first thing I want to do here is install the lights in the sump. That way I can see what I'm doing for the rest of this. And I'm just using a set of 3 of these puck style fluorescent bulbs. They're really low wattage and they brighten up, or they light up the entire sump really well. Now I'm going to install some outlets, the DC8 and Aqua Controller Junior, and this other surge strip I have here actually has a remote control that goes with it, so I'll be able to turn off everything I want with one click whenever I want to do a water change or something like that. And now we'll put all the equipment into the sump. It's going to go from the overflow water to the skimmer, into the biopellet reactor, and back into the return pump into the tank. And lastly here, I'm going to install the Tunzi auto top off system along with my water reservoir. The first bit of plumbing I'm going to do here is the top return portion. The return is a 1-inch pipe that I'm going to split off into 4 different ways using 1/2-inch lock line. That way I'll get movement from the return on all 4 sides of the tank. For the return, I'm going to hard plumb everything. And this first piece that I'm working on here, the clear part's a check valve. I'm actually making a feeding tube because I want everything to be accessible from the bottom of the tank. I don't want to have to get to the top of it very often, since the top won't necessarily have such easy access as far as removing panels like the bottom does. So this feeder tube, it's going to be introduced with a valve that will allow water to wash it down coming straight from the return pipe, and we'll shoot it up into the tank. And as I build it here, you can see it gets a little complex, but I'm going to try to walk through exactly where the food will go and how the whole structure is built. And you can see I have unions here. I have about 5 or 6 different places where I can take out sections of this piping to repair something or replace it or fix a leak. So it's actually functionally designed to be able to come apart like a puzzle. Okay, here's how the feeding tube is supposed to work. The food will go in this first valve here while it's open, and then we'll open another valve and water will travel through the check valve and up through another check valve and into the return back to the tank. Now this valve right here is what will open to introduce water from the return pump into this line through this check valve to flush all the food into the tank. Then after the fact, I thought about water changes, and I wanted to make that real easy too, so I redid the small section of plumbing right near the tank where the return is going in, and I put a valve, a branch off in a valve right above the check valve. And the idea here is, since my lock line will be deep enough in the water, whenever I turn the main pump off, I don't want to get the siphon back into the sump, and that's what that check valve is there for. But now I can turn off the pumps and allow that siphon to drain water right into a hose straight out of the tank to do a water change. It just makes it a lot easier. The first piece I'm going to work on here for the tank border is going to be the underside that will have lighting mounted underneath it to light up the reflective material, and the ledge just below that. What I'm going to do is dig out a channel in this wood. That way we can inlay the rope light. And it's just some rope light that I bought from Home Depot. It's pretty thin and it comes in 8-inch lengths. You can cut it every 8 inches, or maybe it's 7 inches, I'm not sure. But modified it a little bit and put my own wires on there. That way I can control them and daisy chain all of them together and just have one plug for all 4 sides. I'm just going to glue these in with a hot glue gun. It'll hold nice and well, and the lights themselves are actually recessed a little bit further to try to minimize the sight as you're looking at the tank. Now I'm going to run the wires through some pre-drilled holes into the stand so I can make a nice neat little wire setup underneath it. And then I'm going to nail the bottom piece onto the angled reflective piece very carefully. Now I'm just going to glue in some spacers to help with the 45-degree angle pieces that we have gluing on here, and also to give the top some stability. And then I'll just glue on the side pieces and top piece. And when you're working with this many 45-degree angles, it really helps to make sure that your tools are calibrated. Make sure the saw blade's exactly at a 45-degree angle. And with this project, I ended up with really tight corners and joints. It looks really good. And finally, I'm just going to put on 2 coats of black paint, and that'll finish up the border around the tank. Now, as far as the effect goes that I was going for with the light and the reflective surface here, it actually looks really good in person, especially if you're up close to the tank viewing it. You really can't tell it's there, and it looks like it's actually floating. But from further away, as you can see on the pictures, you can still kind of tell there's something there. It doesn't look quite as good. Plus, the lighting is a little off with the video. But overall, I'm pretty pleased with it. I've got the sump running, and there's no leaks in the plumbing, so everything is good. Thank you once again for watching.